Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a Spider-Man can. Spider-Man Homecoming is in full swing. It has been released. I am going to talk about some spoilers for Spider-Man Homecoming. If you've not seen Spider-Man Homecoming and you don't care about spoilers, or if you have seen it and you do care about spoilers, then hey, welcome. If you don't care, if you do care, I do have a spoiler-free review that you can check out. Basically, I'm just going to talk about some key plot elements and some things that I mentioned in my review. I'm not going to review the whole plot, but I mean, just some plot elements I think need to be talked about, and some characters and things in my review that I mentioned that I think need to be explored further. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Zendaya, and Zendaya plays this character named Michelle, and I really like this character and Zendaya's portrayal of her, to be honest with you. I wasn't sure how Zendaya was going to pull this off, but she did. And Michelle is really this kind of character that's quiet, reserved, she's kind of an asshole, but like that lovable asshole. Like, she'll just say what's on her mind at that point, or she'll just draw what's on her mind. I thought that was funny. She's socially awkward. And that's what I really liked about her character. If you have seen my spoiler-free review, you will know that I said that at the end there's a reveal with a character who is a character from the comics that didn't really sit well with me, and it wasn't because that she was this character, it was just because the movie waited till the last minute to reveal her, like a bunch of other movies have done, and they didn't just tell us that from the outset. But thinking about it now, it actually doesn't really make that much sense. To shorten the whole scene for you, she's picked as the new decathlon captain, and she's just like, oh yeah, call me MJ. So apparently this iteration of Spider-Man, MJ is named Michelle, but in the comics she's named Mary Jane. I don't quite get that. If that was revealed at the beginning, I could probably live with it a little bit more, even though it still wouldn't make that much sense, but I mean, MJ stands for Mary Jane. That's my point here. I understand you can be different from your source material. And I understand that that's what they're trying to do. But when Zendaya was denying that she was MJ, I feel like the writers were just like, no, she's not MJ, but we could put that in and fool everybody. It's like, yeah, she's not Mary Jane, but she's Michelle, and we could call her MJ. Peter Parker's best friend in this movie, Ned, it's like, yeah, he's actually an Osborn. He's Ned Osborn. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and the whole waiting till the end to reveal, it's just so stupid. Just do it at the beginning. I mean, that was my big problem with Star Trek Into Darkness. Like, the whole thing with Khan, it's like, no, my name is John Harrison. Oh, wait, no, I'm Khan. That was my big problem with Spectre, where it's like, I am Franz Oberhauser, but he is now dead. You can call me Stavro Blofeld. It's like, dude, we knew from the second you were cast that Benedict Cumberbatch was Khan and that Christoph Waltz was Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Like, just tell us that from the beginning, and just tell us that Zendaya is Mary Jane, or MJ, or whatever the hell her name is in this. Talk about the Vulture, because ultimately his plan is that he's trying to get back at Tony Stark for ruining his salvage company. He basically found Chitauri technology that he wanted to sell on the black market and was trying to salvage it, and then a representative from Stark Industries told him he couldn't do that and that his business couldn't do that anymore. They were taking over, so he holds a grudge against Tony Stark. So at the end of the movie, he is going to get the weapons that the Avengers are bringing from Stark Tower in New York to their compound. He wants those weapons, and he wants to steal them. That's basically it. I mean, I think there could have been more with the Vulture. That's what I'm saying. I mean, everything else with the Vulture, that little backstory at the beginning to how menacing this guy can be. Like, there's this one scene where Peter Parker asks this girl, Liz, to Homecoming, and he has to go and pick her up. And when he rings the doorbell, somebody opens, and it's, uh-oh, the father, the Vulture. When they go into the dance, I love how he's piecing together the puzzle that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It's like, oh, you were in Washington, D.C., but you disappeared, and Spider-Man was there, and then you were in my daughter's party, but you disappeared, and something happened where Spider-Man attacked my guys. You're Spider-Man. Interfere with my business. It's like, holy shit, Michael Keaton pulling out all the stops as the Vulture, hell yeah. Was a menacing villain, I just don't think his plan was all that great. I mean, if you're gonna get back at the Avengers, do something better than just stealing, technology. But I mean, he's not awful. I mean, he's not weak. He's not the weakest villain. Like, I would say Malekith is the weakest villain in this cinematic universe. I mean, I think he's a little above the middle. That's how I feel about the Vulture in this movie. Throwdown at the end, though, between him and Spider-Man. I mean, he just basically throws his glider at this stone wall. It falls on top of Spider-Man. Spider-Man hears Tony Stark talk to him and gives him the inspiration to just carry on, and then he fights the Vulture. There's not really a fight between them, but I think what was really cool is when they crash land on Coney Island after the attack on the Avengers helicarrier, Spider-Man thinks he's dead, and he goes to Adrian Toomes and actually saves him. And that just tells you a lot about the character of Spider-Man. He doesn't want to see people die, he's just a kid. That's just made that scene more heroic, emotional, and it resonated with me more. Just spirit of life, Anything else you really saw in the trailer, like the ferry attack, that was spoiled. The Washington Monument part of that was spoiled. The scene of the movie is actually really hilarious because he finally gets his suit back from Tony Stark and he's putting it on in his room and he doesn't think anybody's watching him, but then Aunt May sees him and she's like, "What the fuck?" And then it cuts off before she can finish. We get some credit scenes. I know that this is a spoiler discussion video. Basically, what you get, the mid-credit scene, you get Adrian Toomes, I think, talking to Scorpion. He's got a Scorpion tattoo, and Scorpion asks Adrian Toomes if he knows about who Spider-Man is. Adrian Toomes is like, "Nope, don't know." I don't know if that's set up. I don't know if that's set up for like a Sinister Six movie or if they're setting up a sequel. It'd be really interesting to see where they go. The next scene after the credits is hilarious because throughout this movie there's these videos of Captain America that are shown to the high school students, and it's kind of weird because like they're like government videos, but it's like don't you think Captain America's a war criminal? And then the teacher's like, "Yeah, don't listen to that guy. He's a war criminal." But he's basically giving them like life lessons. And the scene after the credits is funny because he's like, "Yeah, patience." It was hilarious because it was just you're just listening to him talk about patience, and it's a complete waste of time because it's after the credits. That's basically all I wanted to talk about in regards to Spider-Man Homecoming with spoilers. You can like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, subscribe at the end of this video and check out a couple other videos I have done. And we'll see you next time. I do have a press screening of Wish Upon next week. Don't know what that movie is. I will try and have War for the Planet of the Apes up next week as well. I'll see you then.